funny. Look.
All right, welcome here. This is our Red October Live Q&A, proudly presented by Toyota, the proud partner of the Philadelphia Phillies. We are here at the Plaza at the Comcast Center, right in Center City, Philadelphia. A great day. There are hundreds of people here. It's a beautiful day. Amy Fadool alongside Tom McCarthy, Ben Davis, and John Clark. And gentlemen, first of all, we got to talk a little bit about that scrimmage last night.
Yeah.
We were all there. Over 31,000 people coming out to see practice, Tom. We're talking practice.
I tell you, it was unbelievable. It really was. I mean, John and I were out in right field doing a hit, and you walk in, and there was the same kind of sense of a regular season game. Maybe not a playoff game, but a regular season game. It was truly remarkable. And I talked to Rob Thompson after the game yesterday, and he said it was exactly what they had hoped for, but I don't know if they could have ever imagined it being that good.
It's
really.
Such great atmosphere.
Yeah, it was wild. I wasn't down there, but just watching like the social media views and everything, it was nuts. It was nuts. And I think it really does show the support that the city has for the ball club. The fans are just, they love Red October, and why wouldn't they?
Yeah, and I tell you, I mean, they outdrew the Cleveland Guardians, the wild card.
An actual playoff game.
That is very impressive. And Duran Duran's music playing and the entrance, that got everybody fired.
I think that was like sort of, I don't know if it was expected. I mean, it just, I don't know, it just added to the whole thing.
It really did. It was such a great scene, and it's just the start here, obviously, now that we know who the Phillies are going to be playing in the NLDS. It all starts on Saturday. The game time's still yet to be announced. It's either going to be 6:08 or 6:38, but they will be hosting the Dodgers. The Dodgers took down the Reds. So, yes, there it is.
Yeah.
So the Dodgers will be coming here, and a little fun fact for those who don't know, it's Shohei Ohtani has never hit a home run here. He actually doesn't play particularly well. He doesn't play particularly well here, but he's obviously been playing well. This is a Dodgers team. They're the defending champs. We know who they are. The Phillies did take the season series 4-2, though. Anything you can take away from that, Tom?
Well, I take away that if you matched up our lineup against their lineup, our lineup is better. I think 1 through 9. I truly do. Now, they may have 1 through 3, 1 through 4, some advantage here and there. But I think once you get past the number 4 spot in their order, I think they're a manageable team. And I think our bullpen is better. It's just making sure that you can get out of their starting rotation like any team that's in the postseason. Their starting rotation's scary, I think, to a certain extent, but I do think that our ballpark will get into their heads a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest key for the Phillies is you look at that last series out in L.A., I think it was 18 2/3 innings. The Phillies only got 1 earned run off of their starters. Now, having said that, if they can get the starters out of the game, for the Phillies to win a World Series, they're going to have to hit. I don't care. The reason they haven't won the last couple of years is because their lineup has gone dormant at times, and they just need to be more consistent offensively. If they do that, they'll win.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think the hitters, especially when you have Shohei Ohtani and Blake Snell probably pitching here in Philly, number 1 against Blake Snell because he is so good. They need to be disciplined. They need to be disciplined. Try to get the pitch counts up with Shohei Ohtani and Blake Snell because Shohei Ohtani, he may only pitch 5 or 6 innings.
Right.
He may not pitch 7 innings. I think 91 pitches is what they got him up to the last start, and he's got 9 or 10 days rest. But I think this is on the hitters, like you said, a deep lineup. Maybe you have Harrison Bader and Brandon Marsh down at the bottom of your lineup. That is very, very impressive, but you got to be patient and disciplined.
Well, that's a good point because a lot of people were hoping, one, that they would at least go 3 games because that meant that Shohei Ohtani would have to pitch, and he probably wouldn't have been available. But he was lining up. It seems like he's lining up to pitch game 1 here. I don't think he's ready for this. I know they've experienced postseason baseball there, but you mentioned it, Tom. The crowds here, they were electric for a scrimmage. We know how ready they get. How much is that a home field advantage?
I think it's a huge home field advantage, particularly here in Philadelphia. I think I even saw it last night at Yankee Stadium. Game 1 with the Yankees, the place was fairly empty. It really was.
Yeah.
Last night, it was packed, and it was really loud. I think our place is just different. Ohtani has played in Japan where it's a different environment, where there's always noisemakers, where there's always the sound and things like that. But I still think it's different here in Philadelphia. I do think it will have an effect on Blake Snell. I really do on Monday. I just think it will have an adverse effect on him more than it will on anybody else.
I mean, any advantage you can take, Ben, over the defending world champs, you're going to take it. And I think Citizens Bank Park can provide that.
Without a doubt. This place, it not only does it get loud, it gets hostile. I mean, let's be honest. It gets hostile. And I think that is, what did Kyle Schwarber say when they clinched? He goes, can't wait to get back home and secure that. that second round so we can play in front of those animals,
Yeah.
the crazy animals. So I think
in
that
the nicest possible
in the
way.
nicest
Yes,
possible
the
way.
best possible
But it's
way.
true. I mean, it's going to be a raucous environment, and we'll see if the Dodgers are ready for it.
Well, when you have opposing players telling players on the Phillies and opposing managers telling Rob Thompson it's 3 hours of hell
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that they don't like coming here, that means it's in their minds.
Yeah,
and we've seen
absolutely.
it affect pitchers.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. We saw that with the Braves, certainly, over the last couple of years. Now it's time for our fan questions presented by Toyota. Spencer McCarthy, the Cobra's out there.
Cobra.
Cobra, I don't know where you
Cobra.
are.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Oh.
Hope everyone's having a good time.
Where are you?
I'm over here in front of the bus. It's packed. There's so
Oh, we
many
can't
people
see it.
here today. It's been fantastic. However, I'm here with my friend Jody, and Jody has a question for you guys to kick things off.
So what do the Phillies have to do to get through the first round?
All right, that's a good question. Tommy, you want to start
Well,
us
I
off?
think what Ben said is actually is the number one thing. They've got to hit. I mean, they truly have to hit. And I do believe that if they do hit in the early part of this round, it's going to carry over to the rest of the postseason.
Yeah, and they got to get the starters out of the ball game. That is huge. Get the starters out and go to that much maligned bullpen that the Dodgers have.
Yeah, I think they're still trying to work through their bullpen in LA. They're bringing starters into the bullpen. They're
Yeah,
taking
Kershaw,
out bullpen
right.
relievers 1-2 counts last night. So there's a lot of uncertainty with that bullpen. And I love how it sets up for the Phillies. Christopher Sanchez and then Ranger and Jesus Luzardo lefties to start off the game against Shohei Ohtani because Shohei only hit like 217 against the Phillies this year. So lefty on lefty, I think three in a row. I think that's going to be pretty
It
good.
also neutralizes guys like Max Muncy, who's 179 against left-handers. I think that's a really big deal too.
And it's interesting. One thing we talked about is you wondered how they would set up because 3 straight lefties maybe not ideal, but they are such different left-handed pitchers.
Right.
When you look at them as a whole.
I believe that splitting up Sanchez and Luzardo is really important to have somebody like Ranger in the middle of that because they're closer to each other than let's say Ranger is to the other team.
Right.
So I think that's
much
a big
different
deal. Yeah.
style. When you look at it, because it's just the left-handed pitchers, it's going to be a problem for some of the people in the lineup. But if you look at a guy, we talked about it the other day, Mookie Betts has been swinging a really hot bat. Slow start to the season, but he's really come on strong. 4 hits last night, Ben. I mean, here's a guy that you really have to worry about. Not that there's anybody that you can take lightly in their lineup, but that's a guy that maybe you didn't realize back in May would be so good.
Yeah, Mookie's back to being Mookie,
Yeah, he
and
is.
that's not a good thing for the Phillies or any of the opposition because this guy is. I mean, you're talking about one of the top 5 players in all of baseball when he's right, and right now he's really right.
Yeah, 3 World Series championships.
Yeah, I mean, he's
that
just a
says
great
something.
athlete. He's won multiple Gold Gloves in the outfield, but now he's a shortstop.
Right.
Shows what kind of
Which is
athlete he is.
incredible, right?
It's incredible, and playing a very good, high-level shortstop. So, Ohtani's swinging the bat well. Teoscar Hernandez is swinging the bat
A
well.
couple home runs.
So, we'll see how they attack him.
You hear the Beat LA chants. I love that. Obviously,
Well,
that's
it's a
always,
history, man.
it
It's
is.
a history.
That goes back across all sports. I feel like at this point, John, too.
Yeah, and I think this is the matchup where the winner of this goes to the World Series.
Yeah.
I think these are the two most
best
dangerous teams
I
in the
think 2
National
best
League.
teams in,
Yeah.
in Major League Baseball.
I think in all of baseball.
And right now, look, the Dodgers have found themselves. Maybe not necessarily the bullpen, but the lineup and the starting pitching over the last month, they have
Yeah.
really found themselves.
I
They're
will
hot
s-
too, like the Phillies.
And I will say that the Sasaki move to the back end of the
Yeah.
bullpen, it's not a bad idea on their part. It
No.
really isn't.
Not at
Yeah,
all.
the Dodgers have found themselves, but let's not forget, I should say, last year and the year before, Phillies had a little bit of that September swing. They did not have this year, so they've
Right.
seemingly found some offense as well. Let's go back out to the Cobra, Spencer,
Cobra.
with our fan questions brought to you by Toyota.
Hi,
Cobra?
Team Matt. Hi, Amsterdam. How's everyone going?
Hi,
It's
good.
it is the electric atmosphere here is nut. It's incredible. We have a question online from Alex Zerl on YouTube. He wants to know what the difference is between this team going into the postseason compared to last season and even seasons before.
Ben, Tom?
I think the biggest thing is that they had last season and they had the season before, that this core group has been together for this long. I really believe that that's an advantage for them. And I know that they hear all the whispers. I think Trey Turner's a better player than he was last year. I think that, Matt Gelb's article in The Athletic today was a clear indication of what he's done to get better. And I think that's a big deal. He's leading off and then everybody else. So that's different. And I think that has benefited this team.
I mean, he won the batting title. He has played a lot different. His defense, though, I know it is maligned, is much better than
Way
it has
better.
been.
Way better.
Way better.
When you look at the metrics of it, he's having, and he can be that table setter for this team.
Right.
That's really important.
It's huge, and I think that the way that the bottom of the lineup has rounded out as well, it's added length to this lineup, and that he's coming up with guys on base. they have to pitch to Schwarber and Harper if the guys are on base. So it's huge that he does it. As you talked about, his defense has gotten way better. You know, I'm still a little skeptical about his hamstring, and hopefully it's going to be okay, that he trusts it enough where he can go full bore. I don't know if that's going to be the case. When he came back last year, he was a little hesitant to go 100%, but yes, he's a big catalyst for this lineup, and hopefully he can keep it going.
I think the giraffe is a big thing too. I think he's got to have a really good series.
Yeah, Alec
Yeah,
Bohm.
that's
Yeah.
Alec Bohm
Yeah.
for those wondering.
Raffy?
Yeah, of course it is.
Raffy,
Raffy.
yeah.
But it's a really good point what Tom brought up. Like, they have had this before. Not just they've been here before, but they've experienced that kind
Right.
of like, oh, we don't want that to happen. That's got to help a little bit too, John.
Yeah, and I was talking to Brandon Marsh going into this, and he said, hey, we knew we needed to be hot going into the playoffs, and that's what they did. Maybe a little slower start this year compared to last year, and then riding the momentum and being hot. And I think Harrison Bader and Jaron Duran coming to this team, you've solidified the bullpen. They have the most legit closer they've had during this postseason run. And Harrison Bader, I think he's brought a really good energy, obviously at the plate, but also in the outfield. So I think he has solidified the outfield, and I think there's a different vibe. They've been arguably the best team in baseball over the last couple months, and that was since the trade deadline.
I mean,
And I
not-
also
yeah.
think too that this is, they know that their window's closing.
Mhm.
They know that, and I think some of these guys want to solidify their
Legacy.
spot
Yeah.
in history of the game. You're talking about legacy players, and it's hard to be a legacy
wanna have
player
that
when you
ring.
don't have a World Series
Yeah, you
ring.
want to have that ring. You mentioned John Harrison Bader, and it's so interesting. I remember we were working on trade deadline day, and the night before trade deadline, they make the Duran move, and everybody's ecstatic, as they should be. And then they made the Harrison Bader move right at the deadline. It was maybe a little bit more under the radar because we thought, here's a guy that's
Yeah.
another platoon. How wrong we were. Your everyday center fielder solidified that bottom half of that lineup. Now you've got guys hitting 6, 7, 8, 9 that they're not automatic outs. He's
Right.
really been a big part of that.
I said when they acquired him, I did not think it was going to be the earth-shattering move that they needed. I thought defensively it was going to help. There's no doubt about that. I think that they cashed in on everything that they did at the deadline, where other teams did
The
not
Mets.
have that opportunity.
The Mets.
Yeah, well, I mean,
The Mets.
the Mets obviously,
Yeah.
it did not pay off for them. The Giants, it did not pay off for them. The Mariners, it paid off to a certain extent, but it wasn't like it
wasn't
was
exactly.
here.
It was,
But again, it's a roll of the dice a lot of times too.
it was a really big one. Let's go back out to the crowd. Spencer has another fan question. Fan questions are presented by Toyota. Spence, where you at?
Hi,
Oh, right
we're
here.
actually right
Hi,
here.
good
How's
to
it
see
going?
you.
Good to see everybody. I'm here with my friend Ed. Ed has a question for you guys about what the Phillies need to do to beat the Dodgers and advance in this postseason.
Should the Phillies bunt more, steal more, including double steals and steals of home, and walk more?
Oh, little small ball there. Ben, do you want to start us off with that?
Well, I don't think you can necessarily change the spots on a leopard. Now, this team is built to slug, and I think that's what Rob Thompson is going to let them do for the most part. Now, having said that, if a situation presents itself, Rob Thompson's a great baseball man, always forward thinking. And he's pulled some moves this year that, I'll be honest with you, I didn't even think about. We had a move later in the year where he said, we did bunt because we knew that the other team, the Marlins, against the Marlins, they had used all their guys in the bullpen. They knew if they went to extra innings, they liked their chances because they had a fresh bullpen.
Good
Yeah.
Some stuff like that we never even think of, but Rob Thompson does. So I think if the situation presents itself, yes, he's going to let these guys maybe do a few other things, maybe hit and run, things of that nature.
I mean, they are built to hit, but you want to just move the guys along the base pass and get them home.
Well, we've also seen that these games so far, aside from the one Dodger game, have been really tight. So it could be one run that you bunt home or a guy you move over that's going to be a key to success.
And that's why it's really, really important seeing Trey Turner be as close to 100% as
Agreed.
possible. Because if he gets on base and then he's possibly able to steal a bag, or he's able to go from first to third, or actually score on a ball down the line,
Right.
if he has his speed, I mean, that sets the tempo for the entire lineup.
And that's will be interesting to see also when he makes those adjustments for like pinch runners later in the game, depending on exactly that. All right, Spencer, you have another fan question. Fan questions brought to you by Toyota. And this one concerns the shortstop.
It does, Ames. And here with our guy, Dre. Dre's been here for every single live
Yes, he
Q&A.
has. Hi,
that I've
Dre.
done. Dre's one of our biggest fans, and we appreciate Dre. Dre, go ahead.
How is Trey Turner hamstring for the playoffs?
So, of course, he wants to know about Trey Turner's hamstring. It was a great sign to see that he played in game 162, Tom. We were obviously, that was something they were hoping for. We saw him in the scrimmage. We saw him. We didn't see him, but he did obviously have an earlier scrimmage when they played or practiced out there earlier in the week. 75%. What would you gain?
I would say he's getting. I would say that he's close. He's over 75%. I believe playing yesterday was a good sign. Right. I
Yep.
think the fact that he was able to to try to do something close to 100% was a really big deal. I don't think he's 100, but I think he's closer to it than we anticipate.
And Ben, his importance, the thing that they were able to really kind of still continue to win when he was out, because I think that it was a pretty big blow. You lost Zach Wheeler, and then you're thinking Trey Turner, and it was just like, wow, this is really tough. Seeing him back, I think not only is a boost for the clubhouse, but for the lineup and for everybody else, right? There's your leadoff man back in his spot.
Yeah, and again, this is a guy that, you talk about, this guy can beat in so many different ways. He can beat you with speed. He can beat you with power. He can beat you with batting average. He just really is that kind of catalyst that really makes the team go. And the better off he is physically, obviously that's going to be huge for the ball club. But, I would say my advice to Trey would be, hey, just go as hard as you can, because if it happens to blow out again, we can put Edmundo Sosa at shortstop. We can fill that gap. That's what these guys have done so well, so admirably, really the last 2 seasons that he's been out with these hamstrings. So it's really next man up mentality. They have to be, it has to be all 26 guys on this roster.
And that's the thing. I mean, he is important. They have been able to stem the tide as far as continue winning, but it'd be really nice to have your main guy be your main guy.
Yeah, and that to me is one of the most impressive things. When Zach Wheeler was lost, they didn't miss a beat. When Alec Boehm and Trey Turner go on the injured list, they didn't miss a beat. And I think Edmundo Sosa can be a big deal because, in my personal opinion, if you have Blake Snell on the mound in Game 2, Edmundo Sosa, he hits lefties 318. I mean, I think there's a chance that Edmundo starts at second base against lefties.
I'm interested to see what Rob winds up doing.
To see people tunes.
Yeah, I am. I don't know what he's going to do, but I am interested to see whether he does start him or not against Blake Snell.
It's worked really well.
It has, but
right field, second base.
October's a little bit of a different animal.
It is. It's funny because I think about that, and I think Edmundo is a very gifted defender, but I think that Bryson Stott's defense at second base is immeasurable compared to anybody else. So that's why I'm intrigued to see what he does on Monday.
Yeah, that'll be very interesting because we'll see those decisions obviously coming up on Saturday. Game 1 of the NLDS on Saturday night, either 6:08 or 6:38. Spencer, another fan question.
We do, Ames. Yeah, our fans here are the best. I got my guy John here. He has a question about a Dodgers superstar, but maybe not the one you guys think.
Hey guys, love you, T-Mac. First off,
buddy.
I just want to say we're all talking about Ohtani and the focus on being Shohei and so forth when it comes to the pitching and the offense. But the biggest Achilles heel for the Phillies has been Teoscar Hernandez. So what do you guys think would be the strategy of containing his power and his ability to clear bases and hit home runs?
I mean, that's a good question. We saw Teoscar Hernandez hit 2 the other day.
Yeah, I think you got to keep this guy honest inside. And
I do too.
If this guy, he can go out line to line, obviously, but we saw him hit a couple balls out against the Phillies right center. I think if he gets his arms extended, he can do a lot of damage. But I think you got to open up the inside part of the plate a little bit, and then he's going to open up the outside part, especially with Sanchez with that good changeup. If you can keep him honest inside, I think you can feather that changeup down and away and get some swings and misses. But he's a very talented player.
Very
It's
talented.
the big reason that Dodgers gave him that big contract.
I mean, Tom, when you're looking at it, they have a lot of dangerous guys, but you can't overlook one in favor of the other.
No, I don't think you can. I do think that if you can my biggest fear of anybody is always Freddie Freeman. I just think that he just
Talk
kills
about been
us.
there.
Yeah, I mean, been there, done that. I mean, how many times did we not have a guy at the hole at shortstop where he just peppered it through? But their top 4. That's a very gifted top 4. Get through them, though. I mean, I think that you have a manageable bottom of that order. I really do.
I mean, the Dodgers this year hit 13 homers against the Phillies in the 6 games, but the key is a lot of them were solo shots.
Yeah.
And that's what you want to minimize guys getting on base so Teoscar Hernandez isn't hitting 3-run homers and grand slams.
Don't even say it. Spence, you got another question out there?
And I'm here with my guy, and he wants to know.
Got a lot of guys.
Yeah, a lot of guys.
Got a lot of guys.
There's a lot of guys.
Spencer's the guy.
There's a lot of guys out here. We have a line of questions too. So
Don't be
shout out
afraid
to
to
our
get a
fans.
pretzel too, buddy.
Exactly. Go ahead.
In the last series,
Oh, he's got the mic.
Oh, yeah.
Phillies struck out 36 times against journeyman pitchers. Now we got to face the big guys now. How can we avoid being striking out so much?
It's a really good question. I mean, I think seeing Ohtani, because it was the first time that most of these guys had seen Ohtani, I think that will benefit. I will say his stuff was way better than I thought it was going to be. I mean, he's really good. I mean, he can win a Cy Young award. So I think making contact is a really big thing. And I think it's going after him early in the count. It's not waiting to get any of the stuff that spins with 2 strikes. I think it's going after him early in the count.
Yeah, I think they got to attack him away. Make him beat you away.
Yeah.
That would be my whole thing. I know we talk about Hernandez. You got to attack him in, make him, get him out of the kitchen. But I think with Ohtani, it seems like he's just pulling off the ball. And knock on wood, the Phillies have done very well against Ohtani in the past, and they've kept him honest. But it just seems like he's pulling off the baseball and trying to yank everything
But how
to right
would you
field.
go after him as a pitcher?
If he's
He's
pitching
on the mound, how would you go
As
after
a
him?
pitcher, I think you got to hit the fastball. You got to
go early.
You got to be early. You got to be on the fastball
take whatever
because
he gives you early.
he's got too much in the tank to really kind of wait for your particular pitch. And I think also you cannot give him both sides of the plate. If you hit the ball away well, then just eliminate anything inside until you get to 2 strikes. You have to cut the plate in half until you get to 2 strikes.
I can tell you, get an early start against him. I think it's a really big deal. You get a couple runs in the first inning.
The man is a unicorn. We will never see anybody like Shohei Ohtani. It's truly remarkable.
Ben, you almost did that.
No, obviously not to that extent. he is though. It's not nothing we've ever seen before.
Yeah.
I don't know we ever will
50
because
home runs, 50 strikes.
I say, can you imagine being like the number 1 quarterback in the league, and then also being the number 1 linebacker in the league?
Exactly. You're the number 1 defensive end.
It's like it's so
remarkable.
different, but good for him.
Clarkie was in high school.
Well, he's Strath Haven
a little
guy.
slow.
Oh, that's it.
I was Giraffe.
Yes,
That was my nickname
that
too.
sounds a little bit more accurate over there. All right, Spence, our fan questions are presented by Toyota. You got more of them?
I do, Ames. We got Frankie from Antioch, arguably the best looking fan here. Great
Fresh.
outfit. He's got
Fresh.
He's got the
That's
Phillies.
good
He's got
look,
the high
Frank.
socks on. Go ahead, Frankie. What you got?
So my question is actually about the pitching. I'm wondering, will we see Aaron Nola in the DS or in the CS, and just how much of an asset is to have guys like Walker Buehler and Aaron Nola, in addition to the great rotation that we have set up?
That is a great question because with Game 4, you're thinking you could go Sanchez again. If it happens to go Game 5, then you have the big question. But in the CS, I would think you would see probably Aaron Nola, given the fact that how much respect he's garnered.
I would agree with that. I don't think we will see him in the DS unless there's an extra inning game. Remember, extra inning games are not starting the runner at second base. It's a regular extra inning game.
A lot of cheering from the crowd, by the way.
That one.
I do believe that's where you'll see him in the NLDS. It's nothing against him, obviously. I love the guy, but I think that with Sanchez on regular rest, he would go Game 4. So I think NLCS he'll definitely. I think he'll be in the rotation. I think in NLDS he'll be coming out of the bullpen.
And I think it depends on the situation, obviously.
Could
but
be.
I will say this: if he does get a start, I think the leash will be short. But having seen what he did against the Twins in his last start, that was the old Aaron Nola. He had great finish on his fastball. The breaking ball was sharp, and I think that gave Rob Thompson, the coach staff, a little bit of insight. Like, okay, maybe he is back to being himself. He is 100% healthy now, so that's a good thing. But that last start against the Twins, I know they're not the best lineup, but he had his A-game stuff that night, and I think that gives them
Johnny
some
and I
promise.
talked about this last night. I thought he was really good last night, too. I mean, as strange as that sounds, I thought his fastball had really good life on it last night.
Yeah, and I think the key with him is you said maybe having a short leash and having a piggyback game because third time through the lineup, teams are really getting to him. So, you've got Walker Buehler, like you said, and we know Rob Thompson, he is going to manage to the matchups.
Yeah.
So I guess we have to wait and see what the matchups are.
Right.
Lefty, righty, and everything like that. But I agree. I think you won't see Aaron Nola until the NLCS.
Well, it's really nice to be able to have those guys that are starters be able to come in a pinch, as you mentioned, extra innings with the game on the line. They've had that kind of pressure. Spencer, another Toyota fan question?
We do, Ames. Yeah, I'm here with my guy, Joe. Joe has a question about specifically Saturday.
What's the 3 keys for a Phillies win Saturday?
All right, 3 keys to a Phillies win on Saturday.
Well, I think Sanchez going 7. I think getting a lead early, and I think our crowd getting into it from the start of the game, which I think is a foregone conclusion.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be too hard for
No, I don't think so either.
They're ready to go right now. It's Thursday.
Without a doubt. No, I agree. They got to get the start. They got to get Ohtani out quickly. They just have to be consistent. They have to move runners, be good situational hitting. They got to get guys home from third base with less than 2 outs. Things of that nature, I think, will help them win. They got to play good defense. And all the other thing, they cannot make outs on the bases. We saw that a little bit too much towards the end of the season. We always talk about Bryce Harper with his Invisicloak and things like that. They can't give the Dodgers outs. Yes.
We don't talk about it. You talk about it.
And you listen.
No, I mean, they even talk about it.
I know.
It
is funny, though.
Yeah.
He doesn't think they see him.
You can't see him. There he is, all of a sudden running to second base. John, 3 things, though. I would think one of the things is this is a team for the Phillies that's built on mashing the ball. I think a Schwarber home run would go a long way.
Yeah.
You know what? They had that last year in game one, right? And I go back to last year in game one against the Mets. Zach Wheeler was fantastic. They couldn't close out the game. So this time they have
Close it
a
out.
legit
Yep.
closer. If you can get 7 out of
That's a good
Christopher
point.
Sanchez, you've got 8 and 9 hopefully locked down. And then I agree with Ben. I really think with Shohei Ohtani, because you don't know how long they're going to keep him in there. Remember, what did he have, a perfect game or a no-hitter out in L.A.?
Yeah.
He leaves and then the floodgates open.
Right.
So work the count. Try to get him up in his pitch count so
Mhm.
that you can get to that bullpen and make the Dodgers make some tough decisions in the bullpen.
Spencer, another fan question. This one digitally from our fans watching on YouTube and online on our NBC Sports Philadelphia site.
That's exactly right, Ams. Yeah, I don't have anybody with me, but the questions are still coming in online, so we appreciate that. Patricia wants to know, obviously it's a long trip back and forth to LA. Tommy, I know it's going to be a long trip for you, but it's always fun. But Patricia wants to know, is jet lag going to affect either team as this NLDS rolls on?
I do not think so. I think they're all going to run on adrenaline. I
Yeah.
think it's going to be. I don't think that's going to be a big deal at all. I know, the Phillies will travel the day after Game 2 to
Okay.
Los Angeles. So they're hoping that'll sort of alleviate some of that.
Ben, when you were playing and you would have a game on the West Coast and would have to come East Coast, did that affect? Did you see that affect with any of your pitchers or anything that you
No.
saw with your teammates?
No, because I was young.
Yeah.
Good call.
Seriously, I mean, now that I'm 48
Old.
years old, I'm older. It does affect me now. But when I played, we didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
It was just one of those things. We're going to the West Coast. Okay, let's go.
There we
You know,
go.
like that's just the way it was. And
I think we were hoping that
these
maybe
guys-
the Dodgers would have some and not
Yeah.
the Phillies.
these guys are young and they travel well, so it'll
Yeah,
be
they're
fun.
they're coming in today, so they're
Yeah, so they'll be here
they're gonna
plenty of
set up
time.
pretty good.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that. And it's not like they're flying like the rest of us. They fly a lot differently than the rest
As
of us
Ricky
out
Ricky
there.
both said, they're flying on chicken coop air.
Exactly. No. I want to go back to something we've talked about before. These are red light players, Tom, and you're looking at Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber. Kyle Schwarber, 21 postseason home runs. That's second active only to Jose Altuve. And then you're looking at Bryce Harper, who has the second highest OPS in the postseason of any active player right now. These guys really come to play when it's October. It goes also to something Ben was talking about, the legacy. They want to have that ring.
Yeah.
How much do you think that they think about that? Because they know that this is as golden opportunity as ever.
I do believe that they embrace the opportunity. I think this is something that they play for. It's a long season. I know Bryce has not won a World Series, and he hears it all the time that the Nationals did after he left. But he's played so many postseason games. I think they enjoy this. I think they enjoy the adrenaline rush to it, and I think that's a really good thing. But you could say the same thing about Mookie Betts from the Dodgers. I mean, he
Freddie
enjoys
Freeman.
playing in the postseason. Freddie Freeman enjoys playing in the postseason. So, that's why I think this is the best matchup of any of the matchups that the Major League Baseball will see. I think it's going to be better than even the World Series matchup, whoever the World Series
Agreed.
matchup
I
is.
think that this is the heavyweight bout that everybody's expecting.
I think baseball wishes this was a 7-game series.
Yeah.
Like, I
No
think
doubt.
they're thinking, man, this is a 5-game. I wish this was 7.
I know. Yeah, that's the thing. I think people are going to be disappointed that it's
Right.
it's
Yeah,
only going to be a
without doubt.
5-game series.
I said this morning, what's going to be crazy is how many, when they play that game on Saturday, how many future Hall of Famers are going to be on that field?
No doubt.
Oh.
I mean, it's crazy to
Yeah.
think
you
about
could
it.
be like close to like 10
Yeah,
between
easily.
the pitching
I
staff,
mean, it's something
the
else.
managers,
and
and the players.
I think that's what's so
Right.
intriguing.
Right.
Yeah,
Dave Roberts is going to be.
Dave Roberts is absolutely
going
gonna
to
be in the Hall of
without a doubt. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a very intriguing matchup.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's a heavyweight bout there, Johnny. C.
Yeah, and by the way, I mean, thank goodness the Phillies aren't playing the Mets kind of thing because, you had that issue of going up to Citi Field. The Phillies know they can beat the Dodgers. They've
True.
beaten them 5 straight series.
Yeah.
They know they can beat them. And I go back to the Eagles, and when I saw Jalen Hurts lose that Super Bowl to the Chiefs, he said it changed his soul. Well, I've seen these guys. They were really affected by last year with the way they bowed out to the Mets. And this group has been together, the core, for 4 years now. And it's time to get it done. And I think they feel that. Look at a guy like Kyle Schwarber. Some guys have a tough time going into a contract year. I remember Jason Worth. He had a lot of thoughts in his mind going into a contract year. Look at how Kyle has thrived in that. So I think he's going to thrive this Red October. I think Kyle Schwarber is going to thrive in this Red October. You've got some guys who are without a contract, and they want to show that they deserve to be here and make more money. But I think it's time for this team to get it done. I think it's the perfect time. They've all been together. They talk about it being a brotherhood. They play for each other. This is the time to get it done.
Let's go back out to our fan questions, and this one is coming from Ashlyn Sullivan.
Yeah, Ames. Oh, John, by the way, that just got me all fired up, so thank you for that. I actually just
Let's
ran into
go.
somebody.
surprise. I was supposed to be young Schlinn, a random fan.
We found this random fan
A
out here.
random fan that
Random
does
fan
not
out
work
here.
for NBC Sports Philadelphia in
Never-
any way, shape, or form.
No
Never saw it.
affiliation. No affiliation.
No affiliation.
I'm just a fan, and honestly, I'm really curious. Game 1, Christopher Sanchez. Our expectations, a big matchup. Got to start it off strong. What do you think, young fan?
I mean, thank you, young fan.
How
Flynn.
young?
We appreciate you. We appreciate you. But Sanchi, what a career year. Career highs in wins, strikeouts, ERA, innings pitched, everything. He had talk about guys that are playing for contracts and want to showcase what they can do. He's obviously got one, but he's a guy that also wants to show that he can get it done in October, Tom.
Yeah, I think that this is just the natural ascension of a guy. I think he is going to relish the opportunity to be out on that mound on Saturday. And I think he understands they lost a really good player in Zach Wheeler, and he is irreplaceable.
Yeah.
But I think he understands that the burden's now on him, and I think he likes it. I think his personality is such that he likes it.
Yeah, he's really stepped into that role really well. And you hear Rob Thompson talk about Christopher Sanchez, and it's almost like he's talking about his own son.
Right. I
He's
agree
so
with that.
proud of Christopher Sanchez and what he has done, where he's come from, being on that shuttle between AAA and the big leagues, making the transition to one of the best pitchers in baseball. And it's great to see that work ethic really shine through. And I don't think he's going to be nervous because he knows all the trials and tribulations that he's gone through to put himself in this position. And I think it's going to show on Saturday.
I mean, honestly, John, he's a Paul Skeens away from a Cy Young this year.
Absolutely. And, he's had to play in the pressure games.
Right, where they
Paul
actually need
Skeens-
to win.
Yeah, I mean, Paul Skeens,
No offense, Paul.
no offense, but he's not in any type of pennant race.
Paul Skeens is very good.
Amazing. But I was also impressed with Christopher Sanchez when Zach Wheeler did go down. People were asking him, do you feel like you have to be the ace? Do you have to be the guy? And he said, you know what? I already put the pressure on myself to be the best I can be. So he didn't put extra pressure on himself. He handled it well, which everybody did on the team. So I think it's set up really well. Of course, Ranger Suarez is the ultimate playoff performer. As Rob Thompson says,
Cool
no
as
heartbeat.
cucumber.
And Jesus Luzardo, I'm very impressed with him because he faced some adversity. He faced some adversity this year. He was able to work through it. We saw him rebound, and he's had some good starts. So I think it's setting up really, really well, the best you can without having Zach Wheeler to have these three lefties.
Agreed. So to answer the question, we think that Sanchi's going to do quite well for Game 1. I know we have another online question. Our fan questions are brought to you by Toyota. Spencer, you have an online question?
We do, Ames, and I just want to shout out to the guy to your left, your guy's left. He's
Yes.
in a Whit Merrifield jersey.
Yeah,
So
he
shout out
is.
to that guy in the Whit
I
Merrifield
also see a
jersey.
Jim Tomey jersey, which I also appreciate.
Love that
Of
one.
course,
Yeah.
of course. So Al, this time, or this question is specifically for Tom, but we can ask everybody. Obviously, Kyle Schwarber got really close to breaking Ryan Howard's home run record for a single season. Al on YouTube wants to know: is that record untouchable? Do you guys think, or
I do
Schwarber
not.
just-
I do not think it's untouchable. Kyle's over his last 14, and it was partly because he was going after that record. I don't think it's untouchable, but I still think you look at that year Ryan had, and it is really impressive because not only did he hit 58 home runs, not only did he have over 100 RBIs, but he also had his best batting average ever in his career.
And how many did he hit in September?
I
mean, a lot. Maybe 12, 11?
Yeah, it was 11 or 12.
I mean, what is September?
Yeah, so my thought is that it's not unbreakable, but I still think it's really impressive. Like, that's one of the greatest years. For years, they're going to go back and say Chuck Klein this, Mike Schmidt this, Ryan Howard this from 2006. I mean, it's
think about it. It's like hitting 10 home runs for 6 straight months.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
I mean, you think about it from that aspect. It's like, how can anybody do that? But
I will say somebody can break it.
Yes.
It's just that it's really impressive. Yeah.
It's impressive that Kyle Schwarber did it this year. He's obviously been a home run guy, but John, you mentioned it. It's a contract year for him, and sometimes that comes at extra pressure. And yes, towards the end, he was absolutely swinging for the fences, which I appreciated because he always does. But he's a guy that really has embraced that role for this team. And whether you put him at leadoff, whether you have him second, it didn't matter. He was always able to perform. And I think that was a really big turning point for him as well.
Yeah, and by the way, respect to Ryan Howard, because when you look up his statistics for those 5 years,
I don't think people have any idea.
There's only a few players in baseball history who have been that productive. We're talking 150 some RBIs, 50 plus
remarkable.
homers a couple years, and those Septembers where he carried the team. So,
Give me to the
respect
plate,
for
boys.
Ryan Howard.
Get me to the plate. It's one of those things that I have a young son that's interested in baseball. We try to tell him about there's people that are not going to realize how good Ryan Howard was. They're just going to know maybe what he was at the end. And 2006 is one of the all-time great seasons by any baseball player of all time ever.
Yep.
Big P, shout out to Big P. So that's good stuff right there. It was a lot of fun watching Kyle Schwarber try to go for that home run record. And it looks like we have another a young fan with Spencer. Our fan questions are presented by Toyota. Spencer, who you got with you?
Ames, I got my guy Cole here, and Cole has a big outlook question. You guys.
When does the World Series end?
Where? Sure, where does it?
Yeah, where does it?
Yeah.
Where
Broad
does it
Street.
end?
Broad Street.
Ends on Broad Street, right over
That's
here,
the big
buddy.
question, Cole.
Right over here.
Where will the parade is?
Yeah.
I mean, so you guys obviously were here in 2008 when they had the parade, and we've seen the Eagles parades. We know how this town comes out. They're salivating to get back to that stage in October in World Series. We had the taste in 2022. What are the chances, Tom, that they get back there?
Well, I think the chances are very good. Again, I think this is the series right here that will dictate it more than anything else. I think this is going to be an epic battle, as many of the Philly Dodger battles have been over the years.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that they have an amazing chance to do it. There's a lot of luck that's involved in getting to a World Series. We saw that in 2008. It wasn't our best team, but we wound up being the best team. But I think they have I think this is probably the best position they've been in to get to the postseason, because winning the division, closing strong, getting everybody healthy, aside from Zach Wheeler, I think they're in the best position to do it.
Yeah, I think this city is, bleeds green, and I understand that, but I think it's time for it to bleed red.
Yeah.
I think it's their
It's
year.
a baseball town.
It's a baseball town. They love their Phillies, and why wouldn't they? It's a great group of guys. These guys bust their tails. A lot of folks think they just show up at 6:45, put their uniform on, and go out and play. These guys bust it every day. They're very professional. They come ready to play, and they expect to win. So I think that's going to be in their favor.
Yeah, and I really think the lineup is a big point, because Tom said it. Maybe you could argue the Dodgers have the better top four. You could argue, but maybe the Phillies do. But I think the Phillies do have the deeper lineup. We have seen everybody contributing. Bryson Stott found his wing. Brandon Marsh,
what a turnaround.
0.95 at the end of April to finish above 280. Only one other player in baseball history has done that. So you've seen guys not being successful early in the season, but the bottom of the lineup was contributing. And I think that's going to be a huge deal. Harrison Bader, let's say he's able to get on base. You turn the lineup over, and then you go with Trey Turner, Harper Schwarber. I mean, I think the lineup is get with this team, especially with a couple platoons. I'm feeling Edmundo Sosa's going to get some starts at second base, and you got right field. You got Max Kepler hitting a little bit better. So I think the lineup, it's time for this lineup. Last year, they failed miserably against the Mets, but I think this year they're going to be better, steeper.
And when we talk about the top four, my thing with the top four is that I still think the Phillies have a stronger top four, but that debate, like people say, let's match up this. After that, I don't think there's a matchup. Yeah. But I think that's where the matchup is and the discussion is.
Agreed. Spencer, you have another fan question?
Ames, I do. I'm here with my guy Harsh, and he has a question about our electric closer, but confidence level in that closer.
Yes. So my question is, how confident are we in Duran going into the postseason, given some of the struggles that he's had towards the end of the season?
I think we've been spoiled. A closer coming in and being absolutely dominant, and he has shown that. But there have been a little bit of glitches. I don't know.
Well, I want to see what Ben thinks about this as a catcher. I think when you have 102, 103, you have to utilize it a little bit more. But I also understand that these guys can hit 102, 103.
Yeah.
So his command of his other pitches, I think, has been a really important piece that has to be perfect going into the postseason.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I know this probably sounds funny, but I'd like to see him throw a few more balls.
Like nothing around
rather
the
than
plate.
just like a straight strike down the middle.
This guy is always around the plate.
Yeah.
I don't think he still has a walk yet, does he? Since he got
That's
traded
a good
over
question.
here,
I
don't think he has a walk.
He may not.
I don't know.
If it is,
It's just
if it's anything, it's one or two.
Yeah, this guy's so around the plate. I mean, the threat control is great, but I think if he's going to start to miss a little bit, he needs to miss off the plate or down or start to bounce some more breaking balls. So I think that's really going to help him out, just to have these guys expand the strike zone a little bit more, because he's just filling the strike zone up with strikes, and that's I'd be aggressive too if I were batting against them.
And I'd love to ask you guys, because you're around the team every day, what is your confidence level in the bullpen other than Duran?
I feel good about it.
Kerkering, Strom, we've seen.
Yeah, I think they have enough depth to overcome.
I feel like
I
Banks has
really
come
do.
on.
I think they have enough depth to overcome the sort of frailties that have shown over the last couple weeks. But I still think that there's something in there in Orion that he hasn't been able to bottle up. But I think they're fine. David Robertson, back-to-back days, okay, maybe that's a little bit of a concern, but they're not going to play back-to-back days, or they're not going to do it that often. So I think I think the bullpen is fine. I really do. I think if you matched it up against the Dodger bullpen, I don't think there's any contest.
Yeah. And I think that's the biggest thing is that Dodger bullpen is so shaky. John, you mentioned it. They're kind of still experimenting out there, and I think that could work in the Phillies' favor when you're looking at Dave Roberts doesn't really know exactly who's going to be going out there with. I know it's not the same as in 08 where you had you had the bridge to Lidge. We all knew exactly how it's set up. It's seemingly, though, Ben, you do have guys that you can rely on in certain situations. And I think for closers, especially, and for relievers, they need to know their role. And these guys do know that.
Yeah, I think they're actually more familiar with it now. Obviously, it's just they went out and got Duran. But I think it's going to be still, like Clarky said earlier, more matchups than anything. I think if it's a pocket of lefties in that eighth inning, you're going to see Strom.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is. Pocket of righties, you're probably going to see Robertson. So that's something that I think he's going to still rely on and go with those kind of numbers.
All right, Spence, you're up on the bus, and you have a question, a Toyota fan question.
I do, Ames. Yeah, I'm here with the Phillies ball girls. They are amazing. They've done a great job all day today on this bus all day long. We're going to shout out our guy, Dave Shaw, UK Phillies. Most of you guys know. He has a question online asking Harper, Schwarber, Turner aside, who do you think is going to have a big moment come Red October?
Oh, that's a good question. Because we've been talking about the depth of the lineup. So the usual suspects, Harper, Turner, Schwarber, I expect them to do all pretty well. Tom, who do you have?
Alec Bohm. I think Alec Bohm is going to be really important. I think he's got to be important because I think he's going to be batting cleanup.
Yeah.
Or if he's not batting cleanup, he's going to bat fifth. I think he'll have a big series.
You stole my answer.
Yeah, sorry.
You want me to do a different one?
Would you bat Bomer cleanup, or would you put him?
I think you have to.
I think you have to.
You have
I
to.
think so, too.
Yeah. He's. I know he doesn't hit a lot of home runs, but man, this guy can get some RBIs, and that's what you need. You need a guy that
contact,
clean up hitter, and he makes contact. Doesn't strike out a whole lot. I think I don't put anything past Bryce Harper. We saw what he did a couple years ago and against the Padres, and betted him at the bank and all that. I just think I think he wants this more than we all know. I think he really does want it more than we all know.
John, you have an X factor?
Harrison Bader.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's probably what I would say.
Harrison Bader, I just think he's brought a juice to this team. And when he hits a ball, it finds a hole. He finds a hole. So I think Harrison Bader could come up with some big hits.
I'm going to take Beardo. I'm going to take Brandon Marsh. I feel like that'll be one. Marsh. That's not a thing. That's not a thing.
It is to Ben.
It is. It is to certain people. I love it. So, this has been such a great day. We're so appreciative of everybody being out. A stunning day here in Center City. All the fans that came out, everybody that was on the bus.
Thanks
I know
for
the bus
coming
is
out.
continuing.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
Bus is going to go to City Hall, and then it's going over to South Jersey. Of course, our Q&A.
Garden State.
The lovely Garden State.
Great.
Brought to you by Toyota. But before we go, I do have to get a series winner. John Clark, I'll start with you. Series winner in how many games for the NLDS?
I think it's going 5.
No,
I think it's going
that.
5. Why?
Don't accept your
Who
answer.
wouldn't want a game 5 back in
accept.
Citizens Bank Park? I think the Phillies win in 5 games. It's the toughest series you could get, I think. But I think the Phillies are ready for this.
All right, game 5.
Game 5. 5
goes
games.
the Phillies' way. We'll all have heart failure, but it'll be fine. I'll live through it.
I say Phillies in 4.
Phillies in 4. I like that
4.
one. I like that one, Tom.
I think it's Phillies in 5.
Phillies in 5. These guys are
And
just
will
set
there
on.
be an into the night call? Who hits the into the night home run?
Well,
Schwarber?
it's got
Lefty?
I think he would be the guy.
He would be the guy.
He would be the guy.
I think we're going to have one of
There's
those.
no cheapies when Kyle Schwarber hits a
There
home
you
run.
go. Then
There's
it's
no
in 4.
cheapies.
Yeah.
Then it's in 4.
Yeah, I guess I should follow up and ask how many home runs Kyle Schwarber will hit, but I don't know that we
Let's
could.
just say enough.
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 Well, yeah, that's the answer. How many more do we need?
Enough.
We need enough.
Whatever it
However
takes.
many
Whatever
takes
the
in
heck
this
it
one.
takes, Topper.
Whatever the heck it takes.
Said HE double hockey
Yeah.
sticks.
Let's go.
TV.
Whatever the hell it takes, Topper.
Right? We're on
Let's go.
YouTube. It's not even the real
John
TV.
Clark said it.
That's always
He
good
set
stuff.
me up for that.
We want to thank everybody for tuning in online on NBC Sports Philadelphia and, of course, on YouTube. And of everybody out here at the Comcast Plaza, we thank you guys for coming out.
God.
Red October starts. Of course,
And
we will
his
have
guys.
our Phillies pregame show coming your way an hour before the game. The game will be on Saturday, either at 6 o'clock or at 6:30. So make sure you tune in to NBC Sports Philadelphia for our pregame coverage. Thanks so much for joining us here for John Clark, Ben Davis.
Way to go,
and
Amy!
Timothy. I'm
Way to go,
Amy Field.
Goals.
Shout out Cobra.